Yeah, sure. Question is, what efforts did your group take leading up to the election and our perspective of the Knoxville Tea Party?
Okay, thank you very much, Justin. And good evening. It's nice to be here. Thank you for having us this evening. My name is Dana Reed. I'm with Knox Trail Tea Party, which is Spencer and the Brookfields. It's pretty informal, though. It's probably like your Tea Party. You probably don't exclude people who are outside of the Twin Cities, so it's a very interesting group, and some of us overlap. We're in other Tea Parties as well. Knox Trail is a fairly new startup Tea Party. What have we been running, about a half a year, Linda?
I believe so.
About 5 or 6 months, so we really didn't have a tremendous amount of time to get organized and get going, but it was an exciting year, and we sensed that there was something great about to happen throughout the Republic, so we got going. And what we did basically leading up to the election is have a lot of candidate forums. First for the primary, because we had an exciting primary, especially on the Republican side, a lot of new blood, a lot of new challengers. Hi, good evening, Ken. Ken, actually, I got started out with Ken's Tea Party, Worcester Tea Party, when he first got going, meeting at his company back in 2009, correct? That was 2009. And but Knox Trail, basically, we went through the long process of the primary, and we had 2 sticker candidates running for Attorney General, so we had them come out, or their representatives come out, so we just had a lot of people speaking, and in spite of the fact that politicians are known for being somewhat long-winded, the Tea Party was pretty good. Most of them stayed there for the duration of the meeting, even if it went over 2 hours, listening to people talk. So a lot of these people work and they're up early, so I really thought that said something right there. People are really interested. So we tried to get as much information from them as we could at these candidate forums. And some of the people in my Tea Party, Knox Trail, really asked some pointed questions of some of these candidates about their, some of the issues that were personal with them, and so they didn't come, not all of them came away from the meeting feeling like it was a cakewalk. Some of them got put through the mill, but it was great because people got educated and they could hear their responses firsthand. So we did a lot of standouts and individuals. We didn't endorse anyone. Our Tea Party we had a discussion and made a conclusion that we weren't going to endorse candidates specifically. Each member to their own conscience. They can work for whomever they want, and a lot of us just did that. We went out and helped the candidates we felt the strongest about, and we were able to give them their time and our energy. And so a lot of standouts during the day as we were able, popular intersections, things of that nature. I'll turn this over to Linda because she's with my Tea Party as well, and I guess we can just keep passing it along. Okay? And if you have any other thoughts, Linda?
I'm so sorry. When I was introduced, I was on the phone. I brought in an assistant to help me in my business, and she's still very new. So she's still asking questions. But anyway, yeah, as far as our major purpose of having the candidates come, and all candidates, whether they were incumbents or otherwise, were invited to come, and no incumbents showed up. They were invited. So we felt that this was a good educational forum to be able to provide enough education from the candidates themselves so that you could make up your own mind, so that you'd have you wouldn't be just going out and doing, voting because it was the thing to do. You knew who you were going to vote for because you knew what their ideas were and what their approach was and what their intent was if they got into office. So that, the very basic of our group is educational. We took on the issues, the votes, the questions as well. I did a complete research on question 2, which was extremely confusing. It took me a whole weekend, but I made a presentation and nobody threw anything at me, so I guess we were okay. Unfortunately, I wish that I could have gotten around to other places to make the presentation as well, because our town passed passed the yes, and unfortunately it didn't make it through the state. So I'm learning as well as anybody else that was in attendance. I'm also learning that when you get invited to go somewhere, you never know if you're going to be on a panel. We're going to do what? Very fortunate that I've been a public speaker in the past, so I'm comfortable. Thank you. Pass this on? Oh, yeah.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Ken Mandiel, if you don't know already, from the Worcester Tea Party. Our group's a little different than most of the other Tea Parties in that, well, we started out as the Tea Party in Worcester County, and now we've spun off all these other groups that have been very successful. And we did only one candidate forum in the springtime, and we had lots of big names there. You know, all the major Republicans were there. And after that, we didn't do any more for a couple of reasons. One is all of the local groups were doing such a great job. It would have been repetitive for us to do it. And I didn't see any need to have the candidates have to feel obligated to come to another event in Worcester. There's the Seven Hills Tea Party in Worcester now. They had some forums, and like I said, all the local groups were doing a great job. One of the best was one of the first ones by the Webster, Oxford, Dudley Tea Party. They had everybody on the ballot. I think even Tim Cahill. Did Tim Cahill show up for that one? And if Tim Cahill showed up, they even got the governor to respond, even though he didn't show up. So we didn't do a lot. And to be honest, we were very quiet during the election because the local groups, I felt, were really carrying the load, and there wasn't a need for us to do a lot. We tried to do an event in October, and we gave up because so many people were involved in the process, and I decided that was more important than to try to do something else that would either take resources from the local groups or from the candidates. Another thing that I felt about the forums, after a while, I started to wonder why the candidates would come. They're preaching to the choir. They're really, once the primary was over, I didn't really see a big need for more forums. Everybody knew who they were voting for within the Tea Party, I think. And but what was good was the number of people within the local groups who got involved in the process. I don't know how many there were, dozens and dozens of people who had never been involved before were now participating, and that was one of our missions, was to get people involved. And so I can't say we did as much. We're looking at maybe as the question. I'll see what questions come along, but we're looking at something beyond elections for our group, something long-term. If any of you follow the Tea Party Patriots at all, they're talking about a 40-year plan. And to me, that's the time range we should be looking at, not the next election, because those are short-term victories. They're important, but that can't be our purpose.